What's going on, YouTube? This is Luke with Endless Entrepreneurs, just coming to you here with an update on my first bulk buy. I've had quite a few requests of late to update on where I'm at with that. For those of you new to my channel, I'm a part-time eBay seller. I work full-time in the finance world, and I made a purchase of 4 pallets, about 3,000 pair of LL Bean pants. Well, I guess it was early May. I received them. Processed 3,000 pair. Probably finished listing the last ones like that first week of June-ish. Probably around the first to middle of the week of June, middle of June. And just wanted to report on kind of how that's been going. It was really my first test case of buying like a wholesale bulk order. Just kind of figured all the kind of the nuts and bolts of how it works, what the best processes are. I made tons of mistakes along the way. Thankfully for me, it still turned out to be a fairly profitable buy, regardless of all the mistakes I've made. I do think I slightly overpaid for it. I paid $1.15 per pair of the 3,000 pair of pants. A large majority of them were new without tags. Some actually had tags. And then there was about 400 pair of waste. So there's about 2,600 that were sellable, that I deemed sellable, and actually processed and listed. 400 other pair I donated back to other causes that could use them because they were small blemishes, but just enough of a flaw that I didn't feel comfortable selling it new without tags or new with tags. And I didn't want to flood my own market with flawed items that are underpriced, bringing down kind of diluting the market I was trying to sell into. So that's kind of where I'm at. Now we are October 23rd, and just thought it was a great opportunity. I've got a week off in between jobs, transitioning jobs here. I thought it was a great time to update everyone on where I'm at, especially because people have been asking about it. So I've got a spreadsheet that I use each time I do one of these updates. I just keep adding the sales records from eBay. If you ever want to do an exercise like this when you see my spreadsheet, you can use the file exchange system. They have like a downloadable Excel report, and you can download your sales for really any period of time. I think they'll go up to 90 days in the past. So I really just chunk like every month or so. I download all the stuff, parse out the LL Bean items and stack it and develop this little pivot table for everyone. So let me just check, make sure I'm good in the chat. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Tom. Hey, T. Atchison. So we got about 15 watching live. I know it's the middle of the day, so I just wanted to get this out so I can get back to listing. I'm doing a 7-day listing challenge, and I've been kind of crushing it today. I want to take a quick break and my legs a rest before getting back at it. So let me share my screen real quick, and I'll show you the spreadsheet I've got. All right. So here's the summary I put together, and basically, like I said, I extracted all the sales records I used the title to differentiate just because I have new LL Bean for all of them. So it's really easy to pull out exactly what I wanted. My source data is behind here, just in case anyone ever wanted to see kind of how you do it. It's got all the different things there that you'd want to see from the buyers, et cetera, et cetera. In any case, let's just a basic pivot table off it. I've got an extra column for the average sale price. We've got the total price and the quantity here, just so you can. I've been trying to track average sale price. The goal for this order, I paid $1.15 per pair, and by the end of it, I wanted to sell it around $20 a pair shipped, including shipping. And I've been right around there, actually, believe it or not. Now, the only thing to consider is I'm imagining most of the good stuff selling first, so the back half of the order might drop to like a 15 or 16 average sell price, but we'll see. In the case, I'll scroll kind of slow here. You can see all the different variations that I've sold. So it's been a big learning experience on the different stuff. The men's things have sold a lot better than the women's. But that's just the way it is. The proportion of the buy is much more women's. It's probably 65% women's, 35% men's. So that is also a factor as I look at like long-term sell-through and where I'll end up with the whole order. But as you can see here, I've sold 285 pair, and the reason there's additional pair of pants sold is these are before I started pulling the records, and it wouldn't go far enough back to grab them, so I had to go back and manually look at them. So I just had these in on each summary. So we're at 285 pair total, $5,739 in total sales. That's gross sales, at an average of $20.14. So I'm really happy with that. Actually, I'm pretty stoked. Down here, I've got the cost of goods, just so you can see, $1.15 times the units. So basically, this is what's so great about the bulk buy like this, when you get them so cheap, right? Is $327 of my cost of goods on almost $5,800 in sales. Like, that's incredible. And the shipping costs, I've been averaging about $3 to ship because a lot of people buy multiple orders. So I actually have my last couple orders, people have ordered 4 or 5 items. So I've actually been able to get it down even cheaper than that. And when people order a single one, that ends up being $5.95. Worst case flat rate, a lot of times I can ship them first class if they're the women's pair of pants. I did do promoted listings for a decent chunk of this time period. I have stopped using promoted listings for the LO beans specifically. I just haven't seen big enough lift. So, but either case, these were costs that factored into these specific sales. And then for the eBay fees, I just used that 13% basically the eBay and PayPal estimation to get to that $746 in fees. And so total expenses, I've excluded storage and things like that. I want to see kind of the net profit on the actual operational side of this, just from like a straight cost of goods, cost to get the item there, and the fees associated with it. I'm actually excited because I'm getting rid of my storage units here in a month as we move, so that cost will go away completely, which I'm excited about. But in either case, so there's your expenses. Net profit on the order is around $3,700, and this isn't like net like taxable net profit. This is just, like I said, kind of a walk of these basic expenses with these basic things. I know there's a lot of other little things that can go in that are shared expenses across my whole business, but this is not my whole business, so I just didn't take the time to break that out. This just for simplicity. I was trying to demonstrate kind of rough profitability for everyone to see where I'm at. So net margin on these is about 65%, which I really, really like. I just did this little summary over here for everyone just to see. So we have days active. It's been about 144 since the last pair was listed. I'm averaging about 2 pair per day, which is pretty low. I was expecting it to be closer to 4 when I made the purchase, but you live and learn, and those are some of the things you deal with. Average profit, net profit per pair is $13.10, which is pretty solid. And so this is assuming that my average sell price of 2014 stays constant, factoring in the 2,600 that I actively listed, minus the 285 that have sold, there would be basically 3,000 pair or $30,000 worth of sales remaining. And then you would take the cost of goods would not be a factor anymore. Well, the cost of goods would still be a factor. So this is kind of misleading. I should change that to estimated sales, about 30,000. And if you take a 65% net margin, we'd expect about 19,000 in net profit left on there. So sorry about that. I should have had that calculation done already. I did a quick days to sell through, which is the basically just taking the amount of pants I have left at 2 pair per day, and I end up at 1,170 days, which is like 3.5 years to sell out. So and the reason I put this was, well, first I just wanted to be transparent about the nature of the order, right? And then second, I want to talk about strategy of how to get this down, right? So basically every pair I sell from here on out, from an initial investment of about I think it was like $3,400 total all in shipped or something like that. Actually, what is it? $3,450 was my initial investment. So I'm in the green now, or the black, I guess, moving forward. And when I look at that sell through here, I don't expect to get this $19,700 out of the remaining pairs. Like, I just don't think that's realistic. It'd be silly of me to assume that. I think that, that's not possible. What I do think is that I will probably realize about 10 to 12 of that, which to me means that I about quadrupled my money with this order. Maybe 15,000. We'll see. But I think I'm definitely going to have to sacrifice, to try to auction some of these off, especially the lower quality of the stuff. I think somewhere between 10 and 15K of remaining net is very realistic for me, I think, moving forward. Which, like I said, if I could do 3,450, it took me basically a month to process, and I had no idea what I was doing. I really should have processed it a lot faster had I done a couple things differently, including opening all the pallets and sorting them from the beginning. I had to do it one box at a time because I had no room at all in my garage. That was a big oversight on my part. It took me way longer to process than it should. But I'm happy I got to learn. I'm happy I got to make money while I learned. But I like this model. I mean, if you could do one of these per month and have it be diversified, I think that it'd be an awesome way to grow your business. I'm going to stop sharing real quick here and just bounce back to the chat. see how we're doing here. Okay. So someone just said, how did I get to the 65%? I took those expenses and got to my net profit, and then I basically looked at what that percentage was. Okay, what else we got here? What else we got here? So I'm just scrolling the chat, guys. So in general, I'm going to answer Illinois Picker's question. I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on this model and kind of how it's scalable and why I like it and why I took the time to painfully learn how to handle this moving forward. Well, actually, I'll answer Tom's question. He said, what is the average retail of these pants? And I honestly have no idea. I didn't even look them up. What I did was I looked up what's on the market and I just priced according to what I thought I could get for them. So it's kind of sad to say, but I actually didn't look up the retail on them. Illinois Picker said, what is your goal for net profit for the year? So my goal is always to hold a 50% net profit on the business. Like I just, pre-tax, with the nature of what we do, I think 50% is super achievable and should be most people's goal, unless you are completely scaled with employees. So yeah, 50%, I think I'm going to hit that. It looks like I'm tracking to about 80K gross this year. So it should be about a 40K net, which I'm very happy with from a part-time seller basis. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. But kind of getting back to what I think about this model is if you have the pipeline to be able to order different types of inventory, and this is where the caveat comes in. If I always was just ordering LL Bean pants, that's not sustainable because you just keep kind of flooding the market, right? But if you are able to get a bunch of different genres and brands and really diversify, I think that it can work. And if you could do like one of these per month, even if it's like 2 years to sell through the inventory, who cares? Because if it's still going to sell through and it's going to be relevant 2 years from now, and you can keep stacking these bulk ones up one at a time each month, I feel like it's super scalable. And I also feel like it's a repeatable process where even like for me working doing eBay part-time, I could have an employee or two who comes in on a part-time basis and helps me scale that. Processing these type of orders with an employee standpoint is way easier to teach than processing unique individual items sourced at a Goodwill, which I like doing as well. But I just think like the reason I did this and took the plunge with this and have made a lot of mistakes is just because I wanted to learn that moving forward. And I wanted to think about long-term how to scale and how to keep evolving. So it's pretty exciting. I mean, basically it's just all free money from here on out, especially since I'm moving all my inventory to the new house we just bought into the garage. I don't have any storage costs. So it's basically just the listing fees associated with it. And I mean, I'm pretty excited about it. I think it worked out as well as it could have for me. And it still was a profitable decision for me. Someone just asked, what is the last day on your job? So I turned in my computer this past Wednesday, and I have off through the rest of this week. And then I start my new, like it's a contract consulting role. So kind of like I bill my hours I work. It'll be 40 hours a week only, and that starts on Monday, which I'm excited because that will give me a lot more flexibility to keep pushing my eBay stuff and YouTube and all the things that I really like to do. Illinois Picker just said, can't seem to get the price point for sales on shirts, for instance, that you get, but I think you may have a unique advantage there in Charlotte while sourcing, not to take anything away. No, I completely agree, Illinois Picker. I'm able to buy stuff and sell that a lot of people can't in other areas of the country because it's just so overpriced. I mean, the fact that our Goodwills and Salvation Armies are pretty much flatly priced gives us a very, very, very big advantage here in Charlotte. So I'm not naive to that. It's a totally fair comment. And again, like, I don't know if that lasts forever, right? Like, I do think that basically, I think thrift store pricing completely is parallel to the amount of donations they get and their ability to move them, right? If they get flooded with donations and their sell-through is slow, their pricing is not going to be high because then they have no way to store and handle it. But if they have the ability to move it over and over and over, then sometimes the prices are going to creep up because they're going to get more money. It's kind of that elasticity type deal with supply and demand. So I think Charlotte right now is at a point where the donations are so plentiful because it's a booming city that they just keep the prices flat to try and move all that stuff out. T. Etchen said, I live in Charlotte, can't find the best place to source. I source only Goodwill retail, like pretty much exclusively. Like very occasionally I'll hit a Salvation Army on a Saturday, half off, but not very frequently. All the Goodwill retails here are just amazing. Sherry just asked me if I will be working from home. I won't be in the short term, and I'll be on site there just because it's a lot of more like project management, data governance stuff. But as that evolves, I'm hoping that there'll be a little more work from home capability. Elizabeth said, will you be doing anything other than clothing to scale? That's a great question. Right now, the pipeline that I've been working on is primarily clothing, and I'm actually meeting someone in November when I go home to New York. I'm going to meet and actually see their warehouse, which I'm excited about, and may have a pretty steady pipeline to one of these type of purchases per month, hopefully. And I'm hoping to work like a kind of I don't know if it's a tip, but it's just kind of my thought process. I'm trying to work more of like an exclusivity contract on a specific type of clothing, like genre, like maybe dress shirts or whatever, because what I don't want is to buy wholesale in bulk from someone who's also selling that same product and brands to other resellers. I don't want to be competing. I just want to have that source. So it'll be interesting. I'm going to go have some meetings with them, and if it goes well, hopefully that will be what's on tap in 2018 is a lot more of that bulk purchasing aspect. I'm never going to stop sourcing at Goodwills because I really enjoy it. But what will probably happen is as I buy more in bulk, when I source at Goodwills, I'll do less bread and butter items and a lot more of suits, blazers, like higher end stuff only. So Marshall just said, how would you change your model if your sourcing options jacked up their pricing like in other areas? So if I've thought about this, and that's actually, honestly, that's why I experimented with wholesale and bulk buy. That's why I'm doing a lot of these different things is if that happened and it jacked up, I would do two things immediately. So one is I would find the niches that still are profitable at the thrift store. So to me, I don't think all pricing would go up, like just across the board. I feel like it'd be certain pricing. They'd start with brands and things like that. So it'd be like a slow transition. So I would first I would probably hawk blazers and suit coats and things that I know that they won't jack up as much at first. And then I would start to really hedge on bulk buying, developing those relationships even more, because I would just go to that type of model because it just makes sense, right? You want to keep your price point what you're comfortable with, and bulk buying is one way to do that. Elizabeth asked if my fiance is still sourcing. No, Shannon is not. Her career is really taken off in an awesome, positive direction for her, and she's always loved it. And it's gotten to a point where her time is better spent doing that than working on an eBay business. So I totally respect that, and that's what kind of fulfills her and keeps her motivated. So I have a lot of respect for her when it comes to that. Illinois Picker said, how much inventory do you anticipate having in the future? I'm lucky I have a huge garage, but I know others rent space if needed. Yeah. And that's a great question, and it really ties into my real estate ambitions and kind of why this is becoming a rental where I am right now. And we bought the new house. Probably, if everything goes perfect, May or June of next year, I'll be buying some type of really fixer-up type property here in Charlotte. Not sure where. Hopefully closer to where we're buying our new home. And I'll be buying that with kind of an LLC and doing a leaseback arrangement with my eBay business. So that will give me the space, Illinois Picker, for if I start to buy in bulk a lot, I can really operate that out of the house, that new house I buy. It also gives me the opportunity, if I want to scale and have employees come in, I have an independent place for them to go do that. So that's kind of where I'm planning and trying to be a couple steps ahead as I evolve with this, is really just putting myself in a position to scale, continue to buy those bigger purchases and have a spot for it to grow into. There's a really great opportunity when you're able to do like leaseback type stuff, especially in a fixer upper property where you basically you're renting to yourself and you're taking the deltas of each and investing it into the equity of the property. And so it's helping eliminate tax burden. It's helping a lot of things like that. And without going too into the weeds on it, it's just a great opportunity if you can swing it. So that's what I'm really trying to and angling for next year. Obviously everything has to go perfect for that timeline, and who knows, it might get pushed back to late next year, it might be earlier, you just don't know. But that's kind of the rough ballpark what I'm trying to do. Hey, Ronnie from Hearts Pickers just jumped in the chat. Ronnie is one of the YouTubers I started watching and even got me into selling clothing. So huge shout out to him as always. And Ronnie, I was just sharing, I had a lot of viewers ask for me to share kind of where I was at from a profitability standpoint on the LO Bean order. And short summary is I am about $300 net profit into the black now. So everything is gravy. on about 285 pair I've sold. So got about roughly 2,300 pair left to go, Ronnie, and every single one of those profit from here on out. So it's gonna take a solid 2 years to sell them off, but I'm totally fine with that. Hey, Krillin, what's going on, man? So I'll take another question or two, and I'm actually gonna wrap up and get back to listing. I've been in a good groove all day listing, and just want to keep it going. And actually, Shannon's calling me right now, as I can see, so I am gonna wrap up. And if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you. I've gotten caught up on a lot of my comments, and I'm gonna keep catching up this week. So I appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit that like button for me on the way out if you get a chance. It lets YouTube know I'm doing a good job, and lets me know that I'm doing a good job. So appreciate all the support as always. Have an awesome day, guys, and I will be back tomorrow with another video. See ya.